Welcome to Bemanda Podcast, your frontline source for smart, sharp, and straight talk on IT trends, tech truths, and digital transformation. Here is today's podcast in English.
Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're diving deep into a challenge that, well, it feels pretty universal for developers these days. How do you build sophisticated business solutions that connect all the dots, systems, data, people, but do it quickly, without getting bogged down in endless custom code?
Yeah, that's the tightrope walk, isn't it?
How do you create intuitive interfaces, automate those manual steps that span multiple disparate systems, and leverage mountains of data for insights, all while ensuring security, governance, and scalability?
It's the classic tension, yeah. Businesses demand rapid innovation. They want to adapt on a dime. But developers, you're tasked with building robust, maintainable, secure systems,
Right.
bridging that gap effectively, making sure agility doesn't, sacrifice control or quality. That's arguably the central challenge of modern digital transformation.
Exactly. And that brings us squarely to the focus of our deep dive today. We're zeroing in on a suite of tools designed specifically to tackle these kinds of challenges. It creates a space where, well, business needs for speed and developer needs for control can coexist and maybe even thrive.
The Microsoft Power Platform.
Precisely.
And look, this platform, it's often talked about in terms of low code, no code, which sometimes, let's be honest, causes professional developers to maybe dismiss it a bit.
Sorry for that.
But as we're going to explore, drawing insights directly from the comprehensive training material provided by Bemanda Technology on this very subject, Power Platform for Developers. It's far more than simple point-and-click tools.
Okay.
It's a powerful ecosystem built with extension, integration, and enterprise governance firmly in mind. These are areas where developer expertise isn't just valuable, it's essential.
Absolutely. So our mission today, guided by this Bemanda technology material, is to really unpack this platform section by section. We're going to understand what the Power Platform is at its core, dissect its individual components, see how they integrate to build end-to-end solutions, understand its strategic role in digital transformation, dive into the foundational features that enhance its capabilities, articulate the, tangible business value it delivers.
And the data connectivity piece, crucial.
Yeah, yes, and crucially, explore the critical aspects of data connectivity and security within this ecosystem. Think of this as a structured exploration designed to give you, the developer, a solid, actionable understanding of the Power Platform ecosystem.
Yeah, the Bemanda technology material lays out a really clear path. Starts with the big picture, moves through the specifics of each tool, and then examines the underlying tech and sort of the strategic implications. It's tailored to show where your skills as a developer fit in and actually amplify the platform's capabilities.
So let's dive right into Section 1 of the Bemanda technology training material, an overview of Power Platforms. At its most fundamental level, how does the source define the Microsoft Power Platform?
Okay, so the material defines it simply as a suite of low-code tools. The overarching purpose, stated very clearly, is to empower users. And this is key, all users.
All users.
Yeah, encompassing both professional developers like yourself and those often termed citizen developers from the business side. The goal is enabling them to develop custom applications, automate repetitive processes, analyze, significant volumes of data, and build intelligent business solutions.
Right.
All with the explicit aim of doing so without requiring extensive programming knowledge for, let's say, certain types of tasks.
That low-code, no-code phrase, it's often the first thing developers hear, and sometimes, it's met with skepticism. Is this just about making simple forms or workflows? Or is it like a more fundamental shift?
It's definitely more the latter. The Bemanda technology material really emphasizes that this approach isn't about replacing complex custom development entirely.
Okay.
Not at all. Instead, it's about dramatically accelerating the development and deployment of a, frankly, vast category of internal business apps and process automations, things that traditionally would have eaten up significant developer time.
So, less a replacement for my IDE, more like a highly sophisticated framework. Or maybe prefabricated components.
That's a great way to put it. Think of it like using a comprehensive set of pre-built, proven blocks instead of hand-coding every single UI element, every data connection, every approval step from scratch.
But you still need the architectural know-how.
Absolutely. You need the knowledge to design the solution, choose the right components, configure them correctly, and crucially, know when and where to inject custom code for those unique requirements that inevitably pop up.
Right.
So the material highlights this acceleration of digital transformation. It improves productivity, streamlines workflows, essentially lowering the barrier to entry for building functional business tools.
And for a professional developer.
Well, it frees up your valuable time. Time often spent on, let's face it, routine tasks like building standard data entry screens or simple multi-step approvals. It allows you to focus on the truly complex challenges.
Right.
Custom integrations, advanced security models, performance optimization, building those reusable code components we'll talk about, and establishing enterprise-wide governance, the heavy lifting.
The material also points out it's a unified environment. It pulls together capabilities that, well, used to require separate tools or platforms. App dev, workflow automation, data analysis, virtual assistants, even web development.
Yeah.
All in one place.
That sounds like it cuts down complexity significantly.
It absolutely does. By providing a common data layer, we'll get into Dataverse later, and consistent integration patterns, it drastically simplifies building solutions that span multiple business functions. You avoid that stitching together headache.
And the deep integration mentioned in the source. With M365, Azure, Dynamics, third-party services.
Fundamental to this unification. You're not building isolated apps in a vacuum. You're extending and connecting into existing familiar ecosystems using hundreds of pre-built connectors.
Okay, so the Bemanda technology material introduces the 5 core pillars, the main tools within this suite. These are the building blocks, right?
Exactly. These are the things you'll be working with, either directly or by extending them.
So they are Power Apps.
For building custom business apps, those user interfaces.
PowerAutomate.
For automating tasks and creating those cross-system workflows.
Power BI.
For visualizing data, turning numbers into insights.
Power Virtual Agents.
For creating chatbots, conversational AI.
And Power Pages.
For building secure, low-code websites, typically for external users.
Got it. And the material is clear. These aren't just standalone apps working in isolation.
Not at all. They form a tightly integrated ecosystem. They're designed to work together seamlessly. Build the interface, automate the backend, analyze the data, interact with users, all within this single platform concept.
Which means, as a pro developer, even if I'm not personally building, say, a specific Power App myself.
You still need to understand what these tools can do. Definitely.
Because I might be building the APIs they connect to via custom connectors.
Exactly. Or developing custom code components they embed.
Or maybe configuring the underlying data structures they use in Dataverse.
Right. Or setting up the deployment pipelines, the governance policies that let others use them securely and effectively.
So my role shifts. Maybe less about building everything myself and more about building the complex infrastructure, the key components.
And providing the guardrails, yeah. Enabling others on the platform while maintaining standards.
It requires a different perspective then. Understanding how my coding skills can augment and, well, enable a low-code environment.
Precisely. So based on this initial overview from Bemanda Technologies material, here's something for you to think about. What's one immediate business challenge you can imagine tackling more efficiently using a combination of these tools compared to how you might approach it today?
And another angle. Thinking about that low-code aspect and the idea of citizen developers, how might adopting the Power Platform realistically change the collaboration dynamic between your team, the pro devs, and the business teams in your organization? Faster iteration, maybe? But also new challenges around control and standards, perhaps.
Good questions to mull over. Now that we have that sort of high-level map, let's zoom in. Let's get into the nuts and bolts.
Right. Let's transition into Section 2 of the Bemanda Technology training material. We'll take a closer look at each of these 5 core components.
Exploring the specifics and, crucially, what they mean for you as a developer.
Exactly. We'll look at the purpose, key features, different types where relevant, use cases, and specifically those developer interaction points for each tool, all based on the Bemanda material.
Okay, first up, Power Apps, focused on application development. Its purpose, according to the source, a rapid way to build custom business apps without extensive code, enabling development for, well, all skill levels.
And the material distinguishes between 2 main types of Power Apps. Understanding this difference is really crucial for developers. You've got Canvas apps and model-driven apps.
Let's start with Canvas apps, described as offering full design flexibility. You start with a blank canvas, literally. Drag and drop controls draw the app exactly how you want it.
Yeah, the analogy is like using a design tool, maybe Figma or something, but for a functional app. You control the layout, the look, the feel, pixel by pixel almost.
So for developers, what's the hook with Canvas apps?
Immense UI flexibility, primarily. The logic is mostly written using PowerFX. Now, the material describes this as a low-code formula language.
Like Excel formulas.
It starts there, maybe in familiarity. But PowerFX is actually a powerful, strongly typed functional language designed specifically for application logic. It handles variables, collections, control properties, data source interactions. It's quite capable. Developers use it for intricate UI behavior, calculations, navigation.
But what if PowerFX or the built-in controls aren't enough? For really complex UI or logic?
That's where the Power Apps Component Framework, or PCF, comes in. This is a key developer extensibility point.
Right, this is where pro code meets low code.
Exactly. This is where you use your professional coding skills, typically TypeScript, maybe frameworks like React or Angular, to build entirely custom UI components, things with complex underlying logic.
Give me an example.
Maybe you need a highly specific mapping control or a complex data grid with unique filtering capabilities, or a component that needs to talk directly to a third-party API from the UI using logic that's just too complex for PowerFX alone. You build it as a PCF component.
So I build it once, and then?
Then citizen developers, or even other pro developers, can simply drag and drop your sophisticated reusable component onto their Canvas apps. It extends the platform's capabilities significantly.
Okay, then we have model-driven apps. These sound different.
They are built differently, yes. The material states that they're based on a data model, usually living in Dataverse. The UI is largely generated automatically from that data structure. The focus shifts. It's less about pixel-perfect UI design and more about modeling business processes and data relationships.
So the analogy changes from a blank canvas to...
Maybe building with Legos based on a predefined instruction set. The data model dictates the structure and the flow of the app.
Interesting. So for developers, where is the effort concentrated with model-driven apps?
It leans heavily on configuring Dataverse itself, defining tables, or entities as they're sometimes called, columns, fields, setting up relationships, implementing business rules, creating views. You spend less time on the UI layout because it's largely driven by the data structure you define.
You configure forms and views using a more declarative approach then?
Precisely. Key features highlighted for Power Apps in the material. That core low-code speed, obviously. Extensive integration, Dataverse, SharePoint, SQL Server, hundreds more connectors. Responsive design capabilities, especially for Canvas. The PowerFX logic engine. And pre-built templates to get started quickly.
Use cases seem broad. Inventory management, field service apps, data entry, approval forms.
Pretty much any internal business process that needs a custom interface.
And direct developer interaction points, beyond PCF and deep Dataverse work.
Building those custom connectors we mentioned for proprietary systems is huge. Writing intricate PowerX logic for complex scenarios and Canvas apps, and managing the application lifecycle management ALM side of things, source control, testing, deployment, often integrating with tools like Azure DevOps pipelines.
Okay, moving on. Pillar number 2, PowerAutomate. All about automation.
Yeah, process automation and workflows. Its purpose is straightforward. Automate repetitive tasks, create automated workflows connecting various apps and services, reduce manual effort, improve efficiency, ensure consistency.
The core concept seems to be triggers and actions. Something happens, and that kicks off a sequence of steps.
Exactly. An event happens, a trigger, like an email arriving, a file being added, a button being clicked in Power Apps, and that sets off a series of actions connecting different services. It's like setting up a digital domino run. If this comes out that logic across your business systems.
The material emphasizes the vast library of pre-built templates.
Yes, and the huge connector ecosystem. Over 300 data sources mentioned specifically in the PowerAutomate context, including M365, Dynamics, but tons of third-party business apps too.
There's a feature mentioned that sounds particularly interesting. Robotic process automation, RPA, using PowerAutomate for desktop.
Ah, yes, PowerAutomate Desktop. This lets you automate tasks on your actual computer screen, recording mouse clicks, keyboard inputs, navigating applications, even legacy ones that don't have modern APIs.
Wow, so you can automate things that seemed impossible before. Old systems without APIs.
Exactly. It's incredibly powerful for those scenarios. The analogy is like having a digital assistant sitting at a virtual screen, mimicking precisely what a human user would do. Click here, type this, copy that.
For developers, that opens up a lot of possibilities, but I imagine managing RPA bots has its own challenges.
It does. Scaling, error handling, managing the environments where the bots run. It's different from purely cloud-based flows, requires careful planning.
Other features mentioned: approvals, notifications, data sync, business process flows, guiding users in model-driven apps. Use cases seem endless: expense reports, automated emails, data sync between CRM and ERP.
Absolutely. Anything repetitive or involving multiple steps across systems is a candidate.
Developer interaction here.
Building complex, resilient flows. Robust error handling is key. Implementing loops, conditional logic, creating and managing those crucial custom connectors for internal or specialized external APIs, and setting up monitoring and alerting for critical automations, making sure they run reliably at scale.
Okay, pillar 3, Power BI, business intelligence.
Right. Microsoft's flagship BI tool, its purpose: transform raw data from, well, potentially anywhere, into insightful, interactive reports and dashboards, making data understandable and actionable for everyone.
Key features: powerful data visualization is obvious. Charts, tables, maps.
And custom visuals too. But critically, robust data integration, connecting to hundreds of data sources, cloud and on-prem. It supports real-time analytics with live dashboards, extensive sharing and collaboration features.
And it includes data transformation capabilities. Power Query.
Yes. Power Query, sometimes called M in its advanced form. This is where you clean, shape, transform your raw data before it even hits the Power BI model. Think of it as the data chef, preparing the ingredients before cooking the meal. Absolutely vital.
It also integrates with AI features.
It can leverage Azure machine learning models for things like predictive analytics, anomaly detection, finding key influencers in your data. So you move beyond just reporting what happened to understanding why and predicting what might happen.
Use cases are pretty clear: executive dashboards, sales performance analysis, marketing campaign tracking, operational metrics.
Any scenario where visualizing data leads to better decisions.
And for developers, what's the specific angle here?
Several things. Building custom visuals using TypeScript in libraries like d3.js when the standard ones aren't enough. Writing complex DAX, data analysis expressions, measures.
Yeah.
Think of DAC as a powerful functional language specifically for querying and calculating over tabular data models in Power BI. It's how you create sophisticated calculations, KPIs, and aggregations. Managing the data models themselves, relationships, calculated columns, measures. Managing data gateways for secure access to on-premises data, and embedding Power BI reports or dashboards into other apps, Power Pages, custom web apps.
Got it. Number 4, Power Virtual Agents, PVA. Chatbots.
Right. Building intelligent chatbots for engaging with customers, employees, users, deployable on websites, apps, teams, etc. Answering questions, automating tasks through conversation.
A key feature seems to be the no-code graphical interface for designing conversations.
Yeah, the material highlights that drag-and-drop experience. It's like visually mapping out a conversation tree, defining trigger phrases, bot responses, branching logic. It uses natural language processing, NLP, underneath to understand what the user's actually asking in their own words.
And crucially, it integrates tightly with PowerAutomate.
Absolutely, critical integration. PVA handles the chat, understands the intent, but it calls PowerAutomate flows to do things. Fetch data, submit a request, kick off a complex backend process. That's what makes the bots truly powerful, not just simple FAQ machines.
Supports omnichannel deployment. Build once, deploy anywhere.
Largely, yes. Websites, Teams, Facebook, other channels. And it provides analytics on usage, resolution rates, satisfaction, use cases. Customer support FAQs, internal IT or HR help desk bots, sales lead qualification on a website.
Developer interaction with PVA.
Often involves building the back-end PowerAutomate flows that the bot calls for complex actions, creating custom connectors so those flows can talk to external or proprietary APIs, maybe designing more intricate or conditional conversation logic that pushes the no-code interface limits, and analyzing conversation data to optimize the bot's performance.
Okay, finally, the 5th pillar from the Bemanda material, Power Pages.
This is the platform for building secure, low-code, data-driven websites. And the material really emphasizes their use for external users, people outside your organization.
Why the external focus?
Because it's built for scenarios where you need to securely expose Dataverse data or Power Platform capabilities to customers, partners, vendors, the public. Key features include that low-code design studio with templates, but also seamless and, importantly, secure integration with Dataverse.
How is the security handled for external users?
It has advanced security features built in, specific role-based access control, RBAC, designed for portal scenarios, integration with Azure Active Directory, AAD B2C, for managing external user identities and logins.
Customization and extensibility sound key here for developers.
Very much so. While you can use the low-code interface, you also get access to the underlying HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and crucially, Liquid templates.
Liquid.
Yeah, it's an open-source templating language. PowerPages uses it to dynamically render content and, importantly, to securely interact with Dataverse data directly within the HTML page structure. This is a major extensibility point for developers.
So developers can use standard web tech plus Liquid to really customize.
Exactly. Build highly customized UIs, implement complex client-side logic with JavaScript, integrate with other services from the web page. It also supports responsive design and integrating other Power Platform bits, like embedding Power BI or triggering Automate flows.
Use cases. Customer self-service portals seem obvious. Logging tickets, tracking orders.
Yeah, supplier vendor portals, community forums, event registration sites. While employee intranet sometimes get mentioned broadly, PowerPage's architecture, especially its deep, secure Dataverse integration for authenticated external users, really points to those external-facing scenarios as its primary strength, as the material describes.
Developer interaction involves customizing those templates with code, writing JavaScript, building robust security models using Dataverse and PowerPage's RBAC, integrating securely with Dataverse and other services, maybe building custom components or themes.
So, quick recap of Section 2 from Bemanda Technology. Power Apps for interfaces, PowerAutomate for processes, Power BI for insights, Power Virtual Agents for conversations, and Power Pages for secure external websites. Low-code entry points, but significant developer hooks in each.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Thinking about the different types of applications, automations, reports, websites you've worked on, which of these 5 components seems most immediately applicable to a task you handled recently? And how might you approach it differently using that tool?
Also, think about that distinction. Canvas versus model-driven apps. Does building a highly visual, bespoke UI, Canvas, resonate more with certain projects, while building forms, driven by the data structure, model-driven, fits others? Where do you see the main developer effort falling in each approach?
These components are definitely powerful individually, but the real magic, the ability to build those big, comprehensive business solutions, comes from how they integrate. As the Bemanda technology material hammers home, it's designed as a tightly integrated ecosystem. Let's move into Section 3, how Power Platform components work together.
Right. The source highlights that the platform isn't just a collection of tools. It's built for creating end-to-end solutions by combining their capabilities. It's about orchestrating processes that span UI, automation, analysis, and engagement.
The material gives several key integration examples to show this synergy. One is Power BI triggering PowerAutomate, insights driving actions.
Yeah, the example from the source is really good. A Power BI inventory dashboard shows stock levels dip below a set threshold. That insight, that data point, acts as a trigger.
Ticking off.
A Power Automate flow. Maybe it notifies procurement. Maybe it tries to create a purchase order in an ERP system via a connector. Maybe it just posts an urgent message in a Teams channel.
So a direct link between seeing something in the data and doing something about it automatically. The warning light, Power BI, triggers the response, PowerAutomate.
Exactly. Another common pattern. Power Apps initiating Power Automate flows. User interaction in an app kicking off a background process.
Like submitting a form.
Precisely. The source gives the example of a service request form in Power Apps. User fills it out, hits submit, that triggers a Power Automate flow.
And the flow does what?
Maybe creates a help desk ticket in ServiceNow or Jira via a connector. Sends an email confirmation back to the user. Updates the request status in a central list, maybe in SharePoint or Dataverse. All automatically.
So the front end click, Power Apps, sets off a chain reaction in the back end, Power Automate.
You got it. We also see Power Virtual Agents integrating with Power Automate. We touched on this. The chatbot handles the conversation. Power Automate does the heavy lifting.
Right. The example was an IT help desk bot.
Yeah. User asks to reset their password or needs specific info from a system. The bot understands the request, then calls a Power Automate flow. That flow interacts with Azure AD or maybe uses RPA to interact with a legacy system, gets the result, passes it back to the bot to give to the user.
So your automated assistant, PDA, delegates the tricky tasks to Power Automate.
Makes the bot much more capable. And finally, the material discusses embedding Power BI reports or dashboards within Power Apps or Power Pages, bring the visuals right into the workflow.
Like that sales tracking app example.
Exactly. A Power App for sales managers might embed a Power BI dashboard showing real-time regional performance. The manager sees the KPIs right next to the tools they use to manage their team. They can see an issue and take action immediately without switching apps. Puts insights where work happens.
Underlying a lot of this integration, the material really emphasizes Microsoft Dataverse. We mentioned it for model-driven apps, but its role is bigger, right? It's the unifying data platform.
Absolutely central. Data from Power Apps, PowerAutomate, Power BI, even PVA indirectly. It can all live natively in Dataverse.
Why is having that common data layer so powerful?
Consistency, integrity, single source of truth. When different tools are reading writing to the same well-structured, governed data store, integration becomes way simpler and more reliable. You avoid constantly syncing data between systems. Dataverse handles complex relationships, business rules, security, and provides standard APIs for everything to talk to. It drastically simplifies the architecture.
So Dataverse is like the central nervous system, or the shared brain for the whole ecosystem.
That's a good analogy. And the HR onboarding process example cited in the material really shows how multiple components work together on a larger problem.
Walk me through that one.
Okay, it might start with a new hire filling out an onboarding form in Power Apps. Submitting that triggers a PowerAutomate flow.
Which does?
All the back-end stuff. Creates accounts in various systems, AD, HR system, etc. Sends welcome emails, notifies IT, facilities, the manager, whatever the process requires. Meanwhile, Power BI dashboards give HR and managers real-time visibility. Where is each new hire in the process? Are there bottlenecks?
Nice.
And maybe a Power Virtual Agent bot is available 24/7 for the new hire. They can ask common questions about benefits, policies, IT setup. The bot might answer directly or trigger another Power Automate flow to fetch personalized info or complete a simple task.
Wow, okay, that one process uses potentially 4 of the 5 components.
Exactly. UI, automation, analytics, conversational AI, all working together for a streamlined, efficient, transparent onboarding experience, leveraging the strengths of each tool.
The material also points out scalability and extensibility, integration with M365, Azure Services Functions, SQL, ML Dynamics 365, all those connectors. It means Power Platform solutions aren't just islands, right?
Correct. They connect into the broader enterprise IT landscape. They can scale up using Azure's power. They can call out to custom code in Azure Functions when needed. They're part of the bigger picture.
And this integrated platform fosters a collaborative model between citizen developers and IT.
Very much so. Business users can quickly build solutions for their needs using the low-code tools. But IT, with pro developers leading, provides the governance, security, architecture. They build reusable components like custom connectors or PCF controls. They manage ALM using tools like Azure DevOps. It's about enabling innovation responsibly.
Maintaining control while speeding things up. For pro developers, this means working with citizen developers, enabling them but setting guardrails.
That's the ideal, yes. And here's where it gets, well, really interesting for developers. This deep integration and collaborative model mean you're not just building custom bits for Power Platform. You're architecting solutions that smartly combine low-code speed with pro-code power where it's needed most.
So I offload the standard forms and workflows to the platform.
Right. And then you use your deep skills to build robust APIs that Power Automate calls. Or create complex data models in Dataverse, or write intricate business logic using server-side plugins where PowerFX isn't enough. You leverage low-code to focus your pro-code effort on the highest value, most complex parts.
It lets me operate at a higher level of abstraction for common stuff. Boosts my productivity.
Precisely. So here's a challenge for you listening. Can you think of a current business process you're involved with that feels clunky because it spans multiple systems or departments? How could the integration patterns we just discussed, apps triggering automate, BI feeding automate, PVA calling flows, potentially streamline or automate that specific process?
And second question, how does Dataverse, acting as that central secure data layer, change how you think about managing data and governance? Does it potentially simplify things compared to building complex ETLs or point-to-point integrations for every single solution?
Okay, moving into section 4 of the Bemanda technology training material, the focus shifts here from the how to the why, Power Platform, and digital transformation.
Right. The material frames this not just as a tool set, but as a fundamental strategic enabler for organizations trying to navigate digital transformation.
Yeah, it helps organizations innovate faster, automate more, solve critical business challenges in a world where agility, efficiency, customer centricity, they're not optional anymore.
And that core low-code, no-code approach is central here, accelerating innovation cycles compared to traditional development.
Absolutely. It allows businesses to react much more quickly to changing markets or internal needs.
And it drives democratizing development.
That's a key emphasis in the material, empowering employees at all levels, not just developers, to participate in building solutions, improving their own work, enhancing customer experiences.
Which frees up central IT and pro developers.
To focus on the big, strategic, complex initiatives that really need deep technical expertise. Instead of being buried under a backlog of routine business app requests, it reinforces that collaborative model again. Business needs meet IT governance.
The source highlights several key areas where Power Platform specifically drives digital transformation. What are they?
Okay, first, business process automation. PowerAutomate is the star here, eliminating manual tasks, orchestrating workflows across systems, approvals, notifications, data sync, big efficiency gains, fewer errors, data-driven decisions. Power BI giving real-time visibility through dashboards, empowering users to make informed decisions quickly. And the AI integration allows for deeper analysis, predictive insights, moving beyond just basic reporting.
Third area.
Customer and employee engagement. PVA providing 247 self-service via chatbots, Power Apps and Power Pages enabling personalized interactive experiences for customers and employees. Better satisfaction, faster service.
And fourth.
Scalability and agility. Low code means rapid prototyping and iteration. Quick adaptation. The platform itself scales seamlessly on Azure, and integration ensures solutions grow and connect within the enterprise landscape.
The material also lists some broader benefits tied to this transformation and enablement. Things like accelerated innovation, faster time to market.
Right. Significant cost efficiency, less reliance on expensive custom dev for certain tasks, simpler licensing maintenance, a unified ecosystem driving consistency and easier integration, and built-in security and compliance features like DLP and RBAC.
And it fosters an empowered workforce.
Yeah, building a culture of innovation, problem-solving, digital literacy across the organization as more people can build and improve their own tools.
So the material concludes this section by positioning Power Platform as a core strategic enabler, uniting development, automation, analytics, AI, helping organizations be more responsive, resilient, competitive, sort of future-proofing their operations and innovation.
And for you, the developer, understanding the strategic context is vital. Your role becomes architect and enabler of this transformation, leading with solutions that are both powerful and rapid, leveraging the platform for speed where it makes sense, but ensuring it's all built on a foundation of robust architecture, security, governance that only you can provide.
Okay, thinking time again. Looking at those key areas from the Bemanda material, automation, data, engagement, agility, which one do you see the most potential for significant positive impact within your own organization, specifically using Power Platform tools?
And how might the rise of this empowered workforce, enabled by low code, realistically change your day-to-day role or career path as a developer? More collaboration, more focus on governance and architecture, maybe freeing you up to specialize in more advanced tech domains.
All right, let's transition into section 5. This one's titled Features that Enhance Microsoft Power Platform's Capabilities.
Right. So beyond the 5 core components, the Bemanda technology material highlights several foundational features. These are critical for extending the platform's power, especially for developers building intelligent, secure enterprise solutions. They're not just nice-to-haves.
Got it. First up.
AI Builder. Its purpose is simple but powerful. Bring AI into Power Apps and PowerAutomate easily. Without needing to write code or have deep machine learning expertise yourself for many common tasks.
That sounds very empowering. Does it offer pre-built models?
Yes, a set of pre-built AI models for common scenarios. But crucially, it also lets you train custom models using your own data guided through the interface.
What kind of capabilities are we talking about?
The material lists things like form processing. Think extracting data automatically from invoices or receipts. Object detection in images. Prediction, like forecasting outcomes based on historical data. Sentiment analysis to understand emotion in text. And text recognition, pulling text out of images.
So the impact is smarter apps, smarter automations, without needing a data science team for everything.
Exactly. The source gives examples like a Power App automatically grabbing key data from submitted invoices, or a Power Automate flow predicting customer churn risk based on activity data.
So for developers, AI Builder means
It means you don't necessarily have to build or manage complex ML models from scratch for these common AI tasks. You leverage the pre-built or custom-trained models. Your role then becomes integrating the results effectively, using competence scores, refining the input data, maybe using the AI Builder APIs for more programmatic control. You focus on the business logic that acts on the AI insights.
okay, next enhancing feature, and perhaps the most fundamental, Microsoft Dataverse.
Yes, we've mentioned it a lot, but this section dives deeper, emphasizing its role as the underpinning data platform for the Power Platform.
Its purpose.
To provide a secure, scalable, cloud-based data platform specifically designed for business applications. It stores structured and unstructured data in tables, entities, lets you define columns, relationships, and apply robust business logic directly at the data layer.
The material highlights benefits like rich metadata, built-in role-based security, auditing.
And support for complex data types and relationships. It's designed to unify data from various sources, SharePoint, SQL, Dynamics, external systems via connectors into a centralized, manageable, secure environment.
That centralization is key for developers, right?
Absolutely. It simplifies app development by providing standard APIs, FetchXML, Web API, for all components. Ensures data consistency, simplifies governance with a single control point for security and validation rules, makes data reusable across the platform and even external apps hitting the Dataverse API.
The material also mentions the Common Data Model, CDM, in relation to Dataverse.
Right. Think of Dataverse as the platform, the engine. CDM is more like a standardized, extensible schema or blueprint for common business entities. Things like account, contact, opportunity, product, activity.
Why is that useful?
Consistency and interoperability. By using a shared vocabulary and structure for common business concepts, it makes integrating data from different apps, like Dynamics 365, other Power Platform apps, third-party services mapped to CDM, much easier. Less complex data mapping needed every time. Understanding CDM helps when you're designing Dataverse tables or integrating with systems that also use it.
Developer relevance for Dataverse seems huge then. Data modeling.
Designing robust, normalized data models, definitely. Implementing complex server-side business logic using Dataverse plugins.
Plugins, what are those?
They're custom code, typically written in C#.NET, that executes automatically on data events in Dataverse, like when a record is created, updated, or deleted. This is where you put complex business logic that needs to run server-side.
Okay. What else for developers in Dataverse?
Managing security roles down to the field level. Integrating programmatically via the Dataverse Web API. Optimizing data storage and query performance. It's a rich area for developer focus.
Moving on, connectors. The material calls them the backbone of integration.
And they absolutely are. Connectors are essentially proxies or wrappers around APIs. They let Power Platform components talk to other services and
The
systems.
scale is massive, right? Over 1,000 pre-built ones.
Yeah, for a huge range of Microsoft services, M365, Azure, etc., and popular third-party services, Salesforce, Twitter, Gmail, Dropbox, SQL Server. The list goes on.
And they enable flows, apps, BI, bots to talk to these systems.
Correct. They abstract away the complexity of direct API integration, making hundreds of services easily accessible within the Power Platform.
And crucially for developers, the material highlights custom connectors again.
Yes. If there's no pre-built connector for a proprietary internal system or a niche external API, you build your own.
How did that work?
You define the API's capabilities, endpoints, operations, parameters, responses, often using standards like Swagger, OpenAPI definition. Then you configure the authentication. It means applying your knowledge of APIs, REST, authentication protocols like OAuth 2.0 to bring any service into the Power Platform fold. Essential for enterprise integration.
The value is immense then. It makes Power Platform work within any IT environment.
Pretty much. Cloud, on-prem, legacy, modern. Connectors bridge the gaps, making it incredibly versatile.
Finally, and maybe most critically, for enterprise adoption, governance and security.
Absolutely essential. The material stresses this is key for responsible, scalable use of the platform.
It's about balancing that low-code agility with control and safety.
Exactly. Protecting sensitive data, ensuring compliance. Key features mentioned include environment control, separating dev, test, prod, data loss prevention, DLP policies.
DLP, what's that?
defining rules about which connectors can talk to each other. For example, preventing sensitive data from your business connectors, like Dataverse, from being sent to non-business connectors, like Twitter or personal cloud storage, a critical guardrail.
Okay. And role-based access control, RBAC.
Defining who can access environments, apps, flows, and crucially, data within Dataverse, and integration with broader Microsoft security tools like Microsoft Purview.
The goal is empowerment with oversight.
Precisely. Allow business users to innovate, but provide IT with the controls to manage risk and ensure compliance.
For developers, this means
Actively engaging with security. Understanding and implementing RBAC models, working within DLP policies, maybe advising on them, implementing robust ALM practices, integrating with enterprise identity solutions, being a guardian of the platform's integrity.
the material emphasizes the synergy here. AI adds intelligence, Dataverse provides the data foundation, connectors give reach, governance provides control. Together, they make it enterprise-grade.
Absolutely. So thinking about this section from Bemanda Technology, considering AI Builder, what's a process you currently handle manually or with custom code reading documents, classifying text, simple predictions that could potentially be simplified by integrating AI Builder into a flow or app?
And how does Dataverse, as that central secure data store with built-in features, change your perspective on designing the data layer for apps needing data from multiple sources compared to maybe building custom databases or using simpler structures like SharePoint lists?
Okay, let's shift focus now to Section 6, the business value of Power Platforms. This is often the why. Why does an organization invest? The Bemanda Technology material clearly lays out the tangible benefit.
Right. In today's world, organizations need efficiency, cost reduction, agility.
And the Power Platform directly addresses these needs. The material calls out how its capabilities translate into concrete business value. And a significant point for developers is how low-code no-code optimizes development resources. It minimizes the time you spend on standard screens, common automations, basic data interactions. That frees you up for the more complex, high-value work. Building advanced components, architecting integrations, performance tuning, governance. That's a direct value prop for your time and expertise.
That makes sense. And the integration value, those 1,000 plus connectors.
Huge value. Simplifies integration dramatically. Avoids costly, time-consuming custom integration builds and the technical debt that comes with maintaining them.
The Bemanda material lists several key business benefits, framed now in terms of organizational value. Let's recap them.
Okay. Increased productivity and efficiency. Automating tasks, streamlining workflows with PowerAutomate. Less manual effort, fewer errors.
Cost savings, faster app dev via low code, less reliance on expensive custom dev for certain tasks, lower build maintenance costs compared to traditional methods for similar functions.
Enhanced data-driven decision-making. Turning raw data into actionable insights with Power BI. Real-time visibility for better planning and adjustments.
Improved customer and employee engagement. PVA for self-service, Power Apps for personalized experiences, Power Pages for external portals, higher satisfaction, faster service.
Agility and innovation. Faster development cycles via low-code. Rapid prototyping. Quick adaptation to changing business needs.
Enhanced collaboration and integration, connecting systems, improving data flow across departments, breaking down silos.
Scalability and flexibility. Solutions scale in Azure. Dataverse provides a scalable data platform. The platform's flexibility addresses a wide range of problems.
Improved compliance and security, built-in governance, DLP, RBAC, Purview integration, ensure solutions are secure, compliant, managed effectively, mitigating risk.
So for you as a developer, understanding these business benefits is crucial. It helps you talk the language of stakeholders, position your role strategically, identify where your advanced skills deliver the most impact alongside these tools.
It's about connecting your technical expertise to business outcomes.
Exactly. So thinking about common drivers for tech investment, based on the benefits listed in the Bemanda Technology material, which one do you think provides the strongest justification for an organization to invest significantly in the Power Platform?
And how can you, as a developer, effectively communicate the value of Power Platform to business users or executives? How do you frame it in terms of their goals, efficiency, cost reduction, better customer service?
All right, let's move to the final section from the Bemanda Technology training material. Power Platforms and data connectivity. Data is the fuel, right? How Power Platform connects to, interacts with, and secures data is absolutely fundamental.
The material emphasizes why this is essential. It powers apps, drives automation, feeds analytics, enables chatbots. Everything relies on data connectivity.
And Power Platform provides seamless connectivity to a huge variety of sources, cloud, on-prem, third-party, mainly through that extensive connector library we keep mentioning.
Understanding data sources, connections, and managing them securely is critical then.
Absolutely. For maximizing capabilities and leveraging data effectively, the material defines a data source simply. Any location where data is stored, retrieved, manipulated. SQL, Oracle, Dataverse, SharePoint, Salesforce, Dropbox, Google Sheets, you name it.
And it revisits that key strength, the broad connectivity via over 1,000 connectors, allowing Power Platform to act as a unifying layer across the IT landscape.
The material details the specific types of data sources,
Microsoft Dataverse again.
highlighted as the central platform. Unified model, tables, rules, security, seamless integration. Example, a customer app and Power Apps using Dataverse with an automate flow triggered on new records.
Cloud-based data sources.
SharePoint list libraries, OneDrive, Azure SQL, Excel Online. Use case, PowerAutomate monitoring a SharePoint library, triggering a flow on new files to extract metadata or notify someone.
On-premises data sources, things inside the company network.
Right, SQL Server, Oracle, file shares, legacy apps. And for securely accessing these from the cloud, the material stresses the critical role of the on-premises data gateway.
The gateway. Explain that again.
It's a secure bridge, software you install on a server inside your network. It allows cloud services like PowerAutomate or Power BI to securely query or interact with your on-prem data without you having to open inbound firewall ports. Super important for security.
Example.
PowerAutomate extracting data from an on-prem SQL server to update a SharePoint list or send an email summary. Developers often manage these gateways, installation, security, performance.
And external data sources, third-party services.
Salesforce, Dropbox, Google Analytics, SAP, Twitter, accessed via standard or premium connectors. Use cases, Power Apps form creating a Salesforce lead, Power BI pulling Google Analytics data. Okay, so those are data sources. What about connections?
A connection is the specific configuration linking a Power Platform component, app, flow, etc., to a data source using a connector. Crucially, it stores the authentication credentials securely, API keys, OAuth tokens.
And they're configurable and reusable.
Yes. Set up a connection to SharePoint once, reuse it in multiple apps and flows in that environment. A single solution can use many connections to different sources. Admins manage these.
The material categorizes connections by connector type. Standard connectors included common services like SharePoint, Outlook, SQL. Premium connectors require extra licensing for services like Salesforce, Dynamics 365, Azure Service Bus, and custom connectors built by developers for proprietary APIs.
Understanding standard versus premium is key for architecture and cost.
Definitely. And the source reinforces how these connections enable that cross-service integration. App triggers flow, BI triggers flow. Flow connects multiple services.
Finally, and absolutely critical, security and governance of connections.
Paramount for enterprise use. In a platform connecting to so much data, managing access and controlling data flow is fundamental for compliance and security.
Robust security enables responsible scaling. What mechanisms does the material highlight?
Role-based security, RBAC, especially in Dataverse, ensures users only access authorized data actions. Principle of least privilege. Connection gets you to the data. RBAC controls what you can do.
Data loss prevention, DLP policies. We mentioned these. Critical governance tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Admins classify connectors, business, non-business, and prevent data flow between incompatible groups. Stop sensitive Dataverse data leaking to Twitter, for instance. Essential guardrail in a low-code world. Helps meet GDPR, HGAA internal policies.
Secure authentication.
Primarily OAuth 2.0 for modern connectors. Token-based, no password sharing. Enhances security, simplifies user experience. Admins monitor tokens, revoke access, enforce MFA.
And auditing, monitoring, governance controls.
Integration with Purview, AAD. Audit connection usage. Monitor flow activity. Report on data access. Environment controls, managed environments, conditional access policies for a full security posture. This robust layer of security allows innovation with control, critical for enterprise developers. You need to design solutions respecting these policies, use secure practices, understand the implications of connections.
Okay, wrapping up this section from Bemanda technology. For organizations with lots of on-prem systems, how crucial is that on-premises data gateway for securely integrating Power Platform?
And why are those DLP policies particularly vital in a low-code environment where many different users might be building solutions connecting to all sorts of data, including sensitive sources? How do they act as that safety net?
So we've really journeyed through the comprehensive Bemanda technology training material on the Microsoft Power Platform, focusing on its relevance for developers.
We started with the overview, low-code, no-code suite accelerating apps, automation, BI, bots, pages for both citizen and pro developers.
Then we dove into the 5 core components: Power Apps, Canvas Model-Driven PCF, Power Automate Flows, RPA, Custom Connectors, Power BI, DAX, Custom Visuals, Power Virtual Agents, NLP, Automate Integration, and Power Pages, External Focus, Liquid, looking at capabilities and developer hooks.
We explored how they integrate seamlessly, apps triggering automate, BI driving actions, PVA calling flows, often unified by Dataverse as the central data layer, enabling end-to-end solutions.
We discuss its role in digital transformation, driving automation, data-driven decisions, engagement, agility, empowering the workforce, freeing up IT.
We looked at enhancing features, AI Builder for accessible intelligence, Dataverse as the secure data platform, plugin, CDM, the vital connector ecosystem, especially custom connectors, and critical governance security, DLP, RBAC.
We articulated the tangible business value, productivity, cost savings, agility, compliance.
And finally, we examined data connectivity sources, connections, standard premium custom, the on-prem gateway, and the robust security mechanisms protecting that data flow.
As we wrap up this deep dive, guided by the Bemanda technology material, here's a final thought for you, the developer listening. While Power Platform empowers citizen developers and speeds things up with low code, it is a powerful, complex, extensible ecosystem.
Yeah, your skills, architecture, data modeling, complex logic, PowerFX, DAX, C# plugins, custom development, PCF, custom connectors, advanced integration, performance tuning, robust governance, and ALM. They aren't just valuable here. They are essential for unlocking its full enterprise potential, building scalable, secure, truly innovative solutions beyond basic low-code.
So consider this. What's the most challenging developer-only problem you face right now? Something requiring deep technical expertise, tricky integrations, complex optimization.
Could parts of that problem be simplified, accelerated, or integrated more effectively by strategically leveraging the Power Platform ecosystem? Where can you bridge that gap between low-code flexibility and your pro-code power to elevate solutions?
You want to thank Bemanda Technology again for providing the comprehensive training material that was our detailed guide for this deep dive today.
Yeah, their material offers a fantastic developer-centric perspective, really highlighting where professional skills make the difference.
We absolutely encourage you to explore the Microsoft Power Platform further based on what you've heard today. There's a huge evolving opportunity for developers here.
Dive into the docs, play with the tools, see how your expertise can amplify what this platform can do in your organization.
That's all for this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.